Good morning, guys. This is part one of the 370C Soho Motorsports installation turbo. I didn't really want to record me disassembling everything from the car because if you cannot disassemble your car, you shouldn't be installing a turbo kit. But anyways, I went with whatever the instructions said, which I took the front bumper out, took the intakes manifolds, the intakes, and I already emptied all the liquids out of it, including coolant, oil, and power steering as well. So I proceed with the first page, which says to remove the liner from the driver and passenger side. Remove the coolant, also the coolant reservoir. And the very first step that says to do is after you remove the coolant, you look for the harness, cooling harness, and you tie it to the main harness over here with zip ties. Just get it out of your way. Okay, so you can see. And then it tells you to go into the driver's side and remove the tire shield, and the horn needs to come out of here. And I will be installing this horn right there. That's part of the light of the headlight mount. And this is gonna be installed like this. You put it right inside and you install it like this. Put the screw in there and tie it, but it will be on the inside. On the inside, not the outside, okay? So I will get that done and continue recording the process. Okay, next, it says to remove a plastic, which I already did. This plastic, which goes here. Remove it out of there. And also remove the one on this side, which I haven't removed yet. They want you to take this out right here. The plastic is on this side, I guess, was already removed. So it's things I probably just removed within time that I didn't need or something, or it just must have broken or something. Or it's still attached to the shield, the passenger side shield. It was attached to that. So I'm gonna be removing this screw right here because obviously they're gonna want you to move this. It might be on the way. And I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so after removing that bracket right there, from there, what they want you to do is take these pieces right here, starting from the top all the way down. You're gonna cut that all the way to there. So make sure you just remove the clips that go here, because if you're gonna use a blade, you don't want to hit that metal. But yeah, let's do that and I'll come back. All right, so I'm back. I was able to cut that piece out, so you guys can see. There it is. One thing I suggest, this is not in the manual, the weight here that goes here, which is this one right here, this one, take that off, because it's going to be real uncomfortable cutting that piece out and getting it nice and shaped the way it looks right now. All right, so I'll continue to the next step, and by reading the manual here, which you can see the piece is gone. If I go down, see what the next thing is. I guess I'm going to be going under the car to take the white pipe and the catalytic converter shield. So I will be doing that and I'll come back. Thank you. All right, guys, so going back to the procedure here. Tell me to remove this heat shield, and they he's saying that I'm supposed to reverse the bolt orientation on the subframe of the lower downpipe to clear, so that the lower downpipe can clear. And I believe they're talking about this bolt right there. I'm not gonna cut it yet or remove it or reverse it until I see that the downpipe doesn't fit. Here's my white pipe was removed, downpipes were removed, heat shield was removed, and obviously these parts will be up for sale. I'm not going to be using them anymore, but we're ready to move on to the next step. See what it says here. All right, so it's telling me to remove the ground wire out of the heat shield on the whatchamacallit, the headers, but I don't have the stock headers anymore. If you guys do, you can go ahead and do that. I have aftermarket headers, so the shield is no longer there. So I'm gonna keep the step. I'm gonna go down to next one. It's still telling me to remove the lower shield that's located on the manifold, which I don't have anymore. So I'll move to the next step. It's telling me to remove the bracket that's holding the fuel lines. So let's do that and I'll come back to you guys. All right, so the bracket for the fuel line was removed. It's gonna be a little tough for you guys to get it out because of this clip right here. Yeah, I took all those three screws out. Let's see what the manual says next to do. Let's see. So, bracket was removed, and I guess what they want you to do now is take the fuel line out. Take the clip out so that you can take the fuel line out. Basically, what they're trying to get to is to be able to wrap the fuel line with heat shield. After you take it out, the lower fuel line and the top fuel line, both of them's got to be out. So let's work on that, and I'll come back. All right, guys, so I'm back. Finished taking the last. It's the fuel line over here. I got to say about taking these lines off is first take the regulator side off, and then proceed to snap the other end out. This line right here is better to be taken off from the top, and this line right here, the bottom of it, is better to be taken off from the bottom. Get a pair of sniffers and crimp this and push up. So I'm gonna proceed to wrap these the way they want me to, and I'll come back to continue the video. All right, so before I wrap those lines, the manual said to take these two bolts out and take this harness out of here, push it up, just take it out. Let's see what else it says here. All right, take those out and take it out of there, and proceed to disconnect it from the this is the alternator. Disconnect that from the alternator. So let's do that and continue the process afterwards. All right, guys, I went and took the two lines out of here, one that goes to the alternator and the other one that goes all the way down to the starter, and here they are. And the manual tells me to remove this plastic piece from the alternator. So there is a screw that is holding this piece right here. I already took it off. The screw is going to be right after the first screw. There's going to be a second screw in there. And what it tells me to do is to go ahead and shave down this one and this one right here. Those two small plastic pegs are coming out. This is so that these pegs can move freely in there and turn around. I guess we're gonna be turning the alternator wired. It's coming from the bottom. We're gonna give it a different direction. So this needs to move freely to give it that extra turn. Okay, so that's what it says here. You know, we can fully turn. That it will fully turn the alternator, and once you install it back, just test it. So let's do that. Let's shave these two things out to see, and I'll try it. I'm pretty sure it will move freely. All right, now I'll get back to you guys. All right, so I did shave the piece down, and it does move freely in there. Next is they just want you to remove both harnesses from the chassis so that we'll be able to relocate them. They ask you not to break these clips because you might reuse them again. I have new ones, so I can just rip them off. And then they want you to take the tape that's around those two hoses, take them off, and begin to take the tape that's around the alternator plug, and just start wrapping that hose with the shield heat protector. It looks like a rubber piece that it comes with. It's like a braided piece, and I already disconnected it from there, and I'm gonna proceed on removing this right here and this tape, and also removing this piece right here because we'll no longer use this, I think. If not, just leave it there and put it right back over there where it goes. But I'm gonna do that, and I guess I'll come back to you guys. Oh, and the braided hose that they're talking about that you should wrap that with should be this one right here. Should be in your kit. So let's get to it, and I'll get back to you guys when I'm done with that. All right, guys. So I'm back. So this is what they wanted you to do. Install the, like I said last time, the black braided shield first. Remove that piece, the black braided shield, and go down and install on top of the black braided shield until the silver reflective protected shield, and put some tie straps and put the rubber boot right back on there. And that's exactly what I did. I went ahead and put the reflected shield on top of the braided one, put the boot back in there, and tape it up. This boot, you will have to break it in order to take it out and to put it back in. So don't be afraid to cut it. You're gonna have to tape it right back. Okay? I'm gonna continue to the next step, which is removing the black piece. It says remove the starter cable from the dual rubber grommet that is holding the alternator wire in the pictures shown below. So we're gonna remove that piece, and then we're gonna continue to take it out of that connection right there, and take it out of that connection right there from the engine, which is that one right there. And then we're gonna perform this right here, which means we're gonna be shorting down the cable because it might be too long. So that's the next step. So basically what they want you to do is disconnect this hose. You want to take this thing out of here because you need to separate both of these. Unplug it from there, take it out of there, and then we'll make the loop on this side. Okay, so let's do that, and I'll come back to you guys. All right, guys, I'm back. All right, guys, I'm back. So I was able to take the harness out of there, and basically what this means right here is that when you pull that harness out of there and you pull it back, there's gonna be excessive cable here, right here, and you can see it routes directly to the battery. So there is excessive cable we have that they want you to zip tie right here together, and that's what that means. Also, after that, there's a step that you take the hose, reroute it back to the battery connection, and you put the braided hose and the silver hose attached to the same spot right here, just to protect it from the heat that's gonna come out of here. And I did that already. So the next thing is asking you to do is to disconnect both sensors from the bottom of the engine, which is the oil pressure sensor and another sensor that's next to it, and take the harness and wrap it in heat wrap. All right, guys, continuing this installation. So I remove both connectors from the harness on the bottom, the two sensors, and he says to bring it up to the front of the engine and start wrapping it with the silver heat protection. And it should look like this after we're done. So let's continue that. Here's the harness right here. I will continue to wrap it as they want it, and then I'll go to the next step. Okay, so here we are. This is what they wanted me to do with the harness. This is what I did. Did the best I could, because the small heat wrap that they provide you, you won't be able to, fit it through here because it's threaded. It's already sealed. You can't really, doesn't have any tight strap or should I say Velcro, so that you can actually open it and put it in there. So I had a piece that I bought, a longer piece. This is what it looks like. Bought this in Amazon. This is really good because you could just wrap it around and close it just like this. And this is the finished product. Just protect your shield. Let's see what's next here. We go down. It says here that they want me to remove that bracket, which is next to the pressure regulator fuel lines, and remove that bolt. And they want me to route the harness that I just wrapped under that bracket around the engine, and then we'll move on to the next step. So let's do that right now. And so I guess I will be moving this bolt right here, and let's see, and there's another bolt under there which is over here. So this one and this one, so we can route this cable through here. Okay, so let's do that now. I'll be right back. All right, continuing on. Okay, so getting this harness under those brackets there, it's what I was left on, and now I'm routing it the way it should be, so it can connect back to the alternator and to the sensors in the bottom. I'm gonna be putting a zip tag so it can be holding into place in there. I know for a fact that the pipe's gonna come up through here. And of course, going forward, I know that this is probably going to be rerouting a different way. That's why I loosened this screw, but I haven't gotten to that step yet. But I did rub the hoses, which is how the next step is. If I go down here, it tells me to rub the few hoses that I took off on step 24. So it tells me to remove that black rubber, remove that, and wrap it in the braided hose first, and then wrap it in in the silver. Although this one only says the rated hose, I went ahead and wrapped them in both. This is what mine looks like. This tape right here, this is the same tape they use on the harness. So that's definitely gonna be, it's gonna hold the heat from coming through. I didn't do this part all the way in because this one connects on top. But if I have to, I'll put some of this tape over here if I have to. So moving on to the next step, 145. It says here to, we need to remove the bottom. I need to go to the bottom of the vehicle near the passenger side transmission. There's the three lines that are already there. Heat wrap. You would need the heat wrap with another layer of heat wrap. You will need to cut out of the 3 sections in the heat wrap, which includes 5/8 and 3 section. Let's see here. What I need to do here. All right. So basically, it's just telling us to cut the measurements, because all these hoses right here that route through the transmission, they all need to be heat wrapped. So let's see if we can get that done. This is what they're telling us to wrap, and this is what it should look like afterwards. I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. When I'm done, I'll come back and I'll film it so you guys can see it. So stay tuned. All right, continuing this, I'm under the vehicle right now. To show you guys really quick what I've done over here. This is what I was able to do. Nice and wrapped. I was able to, I've taken this engine out before to put the headers on, and I was able to do this because I know I was going to be turboing my car, so this whole heat protection on there, just in case. And I'm thinking that the pipe is going to be routing through there, through here. I'm not sure if we're going to have to remove that, but let's see what the instructions say. And we're going to go continue with the next step. All right, guys, back to step 46. If I go up, this is what I just did out there. Pretty sure it looks okay. If I go down, step here 46, tells me to take the alternator hose or cable and reattach it back to that piece right there, and it says to make sure that it's facing upward. Make sure it's facing upward. But what they did not tell you here is that you're supposed to remove your power steering pump before installing that cable. Because if I go to the next step here, you can see right here the power steering pump is already removed. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove that power steering pump before we attach the cable, which is this one right here. Before we attach the cable to the alternator, let's get that pump removed so it can make it easier for us. And you ask, why do they need that pump removed? I'll show you the next step here. You need that pump removed because we're gonna have to modify the bracket on the pump. Cut that piece right there that's with the blue arrow. And we are also gonna need to replace the coupler, or that piece of metal piping in there. And we're gonna be doing 2 extra holes on the surface of the pump so that the new bracket that they sent with the package will fit there perfectly. It comes to say that this right here is going to be in the way, so it needs to be relocated. So let's get the pump out and I'll come back to film the rest. Okay, so I managed to take the power steering pump off. However, what you guys should know is that when taking this power steering pump off, there is a long screw that holds it on the bottom of the pump, which goes from there to there. When you try to take this thing off, you will get to like about maybe there. Why? Because the screw is not gonna get past that to let the pump release free. So what you guys gonna have to do is you're gonna have to loose this whole part right here, take the light out, and lose whatever bolt you have, if you have any here, if you have any here. Well, the whole idea is that you should have to lose that so you can push it out, so you can clear that screw right there. So I just took basically my front part out, the metal frame that's on top. I took it out. Also, you gotta loosen up the belt, obviously, to take the power steering pump off, take the tension out of the belt. And I guess takes me to my next step, where I'm gonna be modifying the bracket of the power steering pump. Yeah, this bracket. So that being said, that takes me to the next step after that, and trying to drill those holes right there. So I'm gonna personalize that bracket, and then I'll come back to you guys and show you what it looks like. Thank you. Okay, so here's what I found out. My Nissan is a 2010 Touring Edition, convertible, obviously. Some of these pumps will come with only one hole, and this is why they send you instruction to buy a 5/8 tabs to make a hole, which is over here. I ordered this and it arrived today. This is what you use to make the tabs, the screw tab. And my pump didn't need an extra hole. It has that extra hole. So when you remove this piece right here, you remove this piece right here, right? And put this one on. It doesn't go like this originally. It goes like this into that hole right there, to this hole right there. Let me pop it in right there. But as you can see, it doesn't clear that hole. Why? Because the bracket is not letting it clear, which is why they want you to cut that piece out of the bracket so that coupler can turn all the way to clear that hole. Okay, so if you don't have to, if your pump has 2 holes already, you don't have to make that extra hole. It goes right there. So all you got to do is make the cut right here to clear this. Okay, I'm gonna get that done and I'll go back to you guys again.